I am I am overwhelmed with the kind of passion that advocates bring to the table. It is magnificent, and I've built relationships with people that I never would have crossed paths for, except that they showed up at a hearing to defend this plant, and we were able to develop a friendship. I'm not a very good friend because you probably, from the other end of trying to communicate with me, you find that I'm difficult, and it's just because of the press of business. But I love what the work that's being done by people in this community because it couldn't have been done without us. I had occasion to describe to a reporter today in an interview when she asked me, how in the world were you able to defeat the first kratom ban recommendation from the FDA when it was what it was, the emergency powers, 30 days, no public comment, never been had a rescission of that kind of recommendation in the history of the Controlled Substances Act. And the answer was 146,000. That was the number of kratom advocates that went on the We the People website uh, to uh, to say don't ban kratom. The 56 members of the House of Representatives, 51 members, 25 Democrats, 26 Republicans, only got achieved by the advocates calling their representatives and emailing them, telling them, help me along the way, and telling their stories, and 13 members of the Senate. And when you and I'll tell you now that he's passed away, a kratom consumer called the administrator of the DEA and told him not to schedule kratom. Now, you could say, well, what difference does it make if somebody calls? And even if the administrator took the call, it was Senator Orrin Hatch who called him up, who was at the time a member of the United States Senate, a very influential member of the Senate. He was the president pro tem of the Senate. And he called the DA administrator and said, you do not schedule kratom, because he was a kratom consumer. So I think that it speaks to the value that all of our voices have, and how we need to keep working along the way. And I think that that Misty makes a great point here in the comments that nobody should be messaging the anti-kratom people, and I think that's right. I don't think that anybody wins, however satisfying it may be, to say to someone who's clearly wrong. It really doesn't profit us, and we need to focus on going forward, as we are doing along the way.